they abandoned the Quran, there came then a phase in their life which was like the setting of a dark night. And until now they have not emerged from that. Look at what happened in Spain. That was like a medley race in which the torch was handed over to another people. It started from there. When they started fighting with each other, when they started disregarding the teaching of the Quran, when they started living a life of luxury under the titles of caliphs, etc., and the courts of Spain were turned into any worldly court in their style of life and in their indulgence in everything bad. That was the time when the destiny made them hand over the torch to people who were not better than them in practice, but who were emerging from a sort of darkness to a new light. And from then on, they lost the light of spirit as well as lost life of physical phenomena, the light of spiritual knowledge as well as the light of corporal knowledge. Right? You see, if it was a fault of Islam, then they should have been the worst off people on the face of earth when they were closest to Islam. So when you make this comparison, then you begin to see the things in the right perspective.
Assalamu alaikum, Hazur. Asif Ali Parvez, Counselor. Hazur, my question is about miracle, and it is in the context of the scientific principle that matter cannot be created. Now, if we look at the life of the Holy Prophet, there are many incidents when food or milk or water increased so much that a whole party was filled up to their desire. How can we possibly explain that?
You see, there are many possibilities, not one only. One can be the possibility of a vision. A vision which was so powerful that it also had deep influence on human psyche. I remember reading in a book of parapsychology an experiment carried out by Dr. Rizale or something like that from Czechoslovakia, who experimented on human impression and belief and how far it can satiate the real desires and requirements of food. So he, according to that report, experimented on some people by putting them into deep hypnosis. They were made to believe that the cow which was full of milk, what do we call it, teats or whatever it is, they are sucking their milk and they are being fed. Now, after a few days of deep hypnosis, when they were weighed, they had not lost any weight, and they woke up very fresh, as if they were properly fed. Now, the rest of the report I can't believe, but it goes on saying that cow's milk decreased. So I think that part should be exaggerated and could very well be exaggerated. But the first part can be believed in because for that we have the support of Hadhrat Masih Maud's evidence on this, and the evidence of many of his companions. Sometimes one is hungry, one sleeps on an empty stomach, and God feeds him in the dream with something which produces such an influence on human desires and cravings, etc., that when they wake up, they're absolutely satiated. If they drink something, they have no desire to drink water. If they eat something, they feel the energy and the experience of a man who has been properly fed. So these things can be relegated to that area of human psyche, which is under control of Allah, is fed, of course, by somehow of which we have no knowledge as yet, but of which we have gained experience not only in religion but even in outside the religion world and experiences. Secondly, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir has mentioned, which also I have spoken about many times, that the laws of nature have many tiers. Some laws are known to the age, to a certain age, certain time, some period in human history, and the others are unknown. So sometimes when they discover those laws later on, then they will know that somehow the laws they had known to be totally dominant could be subjected to change by more and superior powerful laws. Of that I have given an example in one of my addresses as well, that the power of magnetism was unknown to man of previous ages. But power of gravitation was a commonly experienced, although he didn't understand how it worked, but he knew the forces of gravitation were dominant over everything else. If somebody had discovered magnetic force and had put some magnet over the head of somebody who was like some warriors were clad in iron, and that magnet would attract that person, people would call it a great miracle, something which is overwhelming, baffling for others. That would be a miracle, but a miracle of knowledge and miracle of employing that knowledge to the surprise of the rest of the world. So because God knows all the laws He Himself has created, some superior and dominant laws are brought into exercise by God. And that is why people of that age don't understand. So the difference between a scientific, a scientist producing such a thing and God producing such a thing at the hand of a prophet is very obvious. The prophet of that age, when this miracle happens, belongs to an age where that knowledge is lacking from man altogether. Neither the age of the man of that period has any access to such knowledge, nor the prophet concerned himself has any idea as to how these things operate. Secondly, the medium of operation that requires another step in that direction. If you know the theory, it is not enough. How to manipulate things with the help of that theory needs another step forward. The know-how, how to bring about things by subjugating these laws. That is the second step, which is, we know, was absolutely beyond the powers of the prophets of the earlier ages. So that miracle, which appeared to be against the laws of nature, I believe, according to this instruction of the Hadhrat Mirza Tahir, was not beyond the laws of nature as far as God is concerned. As far as those who observed such miracles, that could have been. Now Hadhrat Moses put his hand into his, pressed it against his bosom, took it out, and it was shining. Now any Tom, Dick and Harry can repeat such a miracle by using some phosphorescent elements in the pocket and taking it out and then rubbing it and wiping it out later on, and so that the shine disappears. I mean, such things can be manipulated and have been manipulated. But Moses had no knowledge. The people of that age had no knowledge. As far as the miracle of the staff eating up the snakes